Hey, this is me building a $2 million a year business in public. Last month I made 170 grand in profit. And the way these videos work are we start with a Q&A. That's where I answer any questions that you guys leave on any one of my daily updates channels. Then we do some growth stats, which is me just monitoring my brands over the course of the last 24 hours. Finally, we do some live strategy. Today's not going to be big on live strategy just because I'm in a hotel room, so you guys could probably clearly see. And I'm headed out of the hotel in just a few minutes here. Okay, first and foremost, this is my main channel. Hit 71,680 subs the other day. This is my daily updates channel, the one that you can leave any questions on and I'll answer. Let's head over to the community tab. Just scroll all the way down to the very bottom. And we can start answering your questions. Embarrassingly, I am currently, my computer is on an ironing board because there's no desks in this hotel room. And you would not believe what I'm doing to keep this microphone pinned up. It's kind of funny, but we are low budget as hell, and I think people enjoy that. So we're going to proceed. Anyway, Tusif says, I'm building a Trello onboarding system to sell for like $500 would be my first time. I built the whole system using your Trello automation video. How to make the system high ROI enough to justify my price properly to the client. Any tips to get my first client faster? Ah, yes. Okay. I feel like I've already answered this question, so I'll leave it at that. But the TLDR is check out a previous video, Tusif. It's not just about the value of the system, the objective value of the system. What's more important is how much you could sell it for, which is really just contingent on your sales skills, your ability to press a pain point, and then your ability to have that pain point effectively captured in the solution that you propose. So very, very important. Sarcasm says, hey, Nick, saw your recent video on scraping major platforms. Seem to focus on platform messaging and emails through third-party finders. Yes, a lot of them were third parties just because they're easiest and simplest for most people to set up. Quick question. If you had to scrape phone numbers for local businesses, what's the most efficient way to do it today, specifically for getting numbers in a targeted area? I've been using Gmap scrapers on Amplify, but they often return landline numbers, inactive businesses, or listings without numbers, which makes me have to spend time manually reformatting and cleaning data every time. My goal is to scrape mobile numbers. For businesses like landscapers in a specific city at scale, clean out landlines and get numbers I can actually call or SMS. Ideally, I'd like to automate this in a make scenario. How would you approach this? Sinatra Foreign says, Facebook, it's much better for local businesses. Yeah, it is. You could scrape Facebook businesses. Honestly, I'd probably just go with Apollo and then Lead Magic. Apollo actually natively returns phone numbers. Lead Magic can enrich phone numbers. So that's probably what I would do. I mean, like, here's the thing. Not a lot of landscapers are going to have LinkedIn pages. Well, a lot of them will, but that's not going to be like their primary occupation. So what you're going to have to do is when you make your Apollo search, you're going to have to set it up with like a term like landscaper or landscaping. The specific city at scale, I would probably just do like the entirety of the United States to start. Anyway, so that's what I would do. And there's going to be no reliable way to clean out landlines, I would say. I mean, like there are obviously some like older codes that are, I think, landline specific. And I think there are some services that allow you to like pre-call a number to verify whether or not it is landline. But I wouldn't really use any of those. It just seems to me like putting the cart before the horse. I would just scrape, like when you put your search filters into Apollo, I would just add, the sorts of businesses that are local businesses. Then I would get like formatted phone numbers from that. And is it going to be perfect? No, it's not going to be perfect. Your issue about the manual reformatting, it's really not that difficult to manually reformat numbers. If you are if you're doing them one specific country at a time, then countries just tend to have like the same code, right? Like United States just +1, Canada's just +1. So, you just have like a +1 basically. You can feed this through like GPT 3.5 even, and probably run like 1,000 records in less than like 30 seconds or something, with like a phone number formatting code. So, the formatting shouldn't really be that difficult. You can also use a bunch of procedural rules, just like strip all the white space between the numbers, stack them up side by side, and then do something simple like prepend a plus and a 1 if, the first letter or first number is not already a plus or a 1. So the formatting part's easy. Calling or SMSing cold, I wouldn't actually recommend. I would recommend sending cold emails instead, and then using those cold emails to qualify interest. Once you've qualified interest, then I would give them a call, but probably wouldn't do that. Divian says, hey, Nick, what's your tech background? What language do you know? I know all of the languages. And what are the things to master in the technical field to understand every concept of AI and automation? My tech background is basically nothing, to be honest. The very first like programming I ever did, I was working as a research assistant in a lab, and they had a project, and it was to take a form, which was called the MOCA, Montreal Cognitive Assessment, which people give to people that are suffering from dementia symptoms, basically, and then to turn that into like an online version. And my solution to this was I created a website basically called like the Moco website, where you fill out the digital version of the form, clicking on various buttons and stuff like that. And I did it in like a very annoying way. I actually like scanned every image and then I like uploaded it. And then I used absolute HTML and CSS positioning to like build out the website. I wrote in PHP, but I used absolute CSS positioning. So that didn't actually work. When it came time to demo this system to the staff members. If you guys know anything about CSS, you'll know that when you absolute position stuff, it tends to work on one display, but not others. So I didn't know any of this. When it came time to demo this in front of like 20 people, all of whom very liked me and were like, wow, Nick, yeah, you're building a whole website, digital version of this. This is the digital revolution. They did so hooking me up to a projector, and then immediately it failed in front of all 20 people, and like the buttons were all over the place and just looked like absolute trash. So that's those are my first steps into programming. From there, I didn't really do anything for a few years until COVID hit, and then I just lost my businesses, to be honest. So that was when I just stuck myself in a room, and then I taught myself computer science from like a foundational perspective, just using free online courses like Harvard CS50. And if you want to do that yourself, just go teach yourself CS right over here. It's a good curriculum. I did the majority of this just myself. And if you are like self-teaching, you can learn way faster than you actually having to like take it in school. Alessandro says, why don't you divide up your videos with timestamp sections? I'd find it useful so I can only watch the ideas that are more valuable for me. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. There are a couple of reasons. One, it's more work for me. And two, like it's true that it is more useful for you, but my content strategy is actually just about like consistent daily accountability multiplied over time. I could go through the timestamp process and then like kind of figure out what I was talking about when, but that would probably take me like an additional like 15 minutes per video. Each video is like 30 minutes. So I'm increasing the amount of friction that I have like 50%. So I don't know if I would really do that, to be honest. Maybe I'll have somebody do that at some point. Please make a full beginner tutorial like a full course. Yeah, sure. Don't have any of those. Thanks, Praveen. King Icon Legend, love your vids. They've been so helpful in launching my own company. My niche is travel, hospitality, and scuba diving. I thought I commented already, but I don't think it's saved. Ignore if it did. But I want to get your insights on why you use ClickUp instead of building your own solution. I struggle with PM platforms because they're all pretty in-depth processes of development and setup, and if you're spending all the time to set it up anyway, why not make your own? Would love any and all advice for streamlining my internal ops and tracking deadlines. I mean, listen, it's a great question, and thank you very much for the kind words and the crown. I think to make a long story short, it's because it just does like 80% of the work for me, and I don't really want to have to go through the rigmarole of setting up like my own app or my own database. That's basically it. You'll notice that I find very hacky solutions to problems most of the time. And is it the best solution? No, most of the time it's not the best solution by far. But is it like the fastest and simplest way to get up and running? Yeah. You can think of it as like kind of dirty thing that gets you 90% of the way there. And it's like, yeah, the 10% isn't exactly what I want. And it's all over the place. Sometimes it doesn't allow me to do some things, but that's okay because I just really care about operating in the interest of speed. The value of speed is it allows you to grow through feedback and not through planning. So you get actual market feedback. You get to interface with the market and then literally put things in front of customers and stuff fast. So Tristan J says, I'm thinking of niching down to specific industries in relation to construction. I'm confused whether it is the best choice to niche down or offer services abroad. Also recently watched your video on high ROI automations. I'll just 2 or 3 out of those to service out along with voice inbound agents. What do you think? Thanks for reading, my brother. No problem, dude. It sounds pretty reasonable. I mean, construction can work. I think it depends on what it is inside of construction. I've worked with a lot of like developers, for instance, like general contractors and stuff like that. A little bit less so. I don't know. They're usually out on like job sites and stuff and like maybe less likely to respond to a cold email. So maybe that's just statistics for you. I don't know. But yeah, for me, it's just about like high ROI digital industries that I could source and then reach out to really effectively. And that, I can spin something up so that people say yes to me. The more money that a niche has, generally the better. I don't know if like GCs have a lot of money, to be honest, but yeah, I think your approach is good. And instead of specific industry, I would do like 2 or 3 industries instead. 100%, 2 or 3 industries. Because it takes you, let's say, X amount of time to set up for one industry. And you think it'll take you 3X the amount of time to set up for 3 industries, but it actually only takes like 1.5X the time because you just get to copy and paste stuff and then you make minor changes to wording. Eric does music says, best advice, take longer. I came to that organically 2 men, had more work than I could do until I had as much work as I wanted. Hit me cold and I was sprinting to finish an MVP for a client, sending it over to Wednesday. He responds, whoa, that's great. I'll take a look next week. Yeah, man, super right. That's in context. There was a video I posted a few days back about how quick and easy hack is just to take longer. when you do client work. Most clients are like hurry up and wait clients, where they'll be like, oh, I really need this thing done. And then you like spend all this time and effort getting it done, maybe before a weekend or while juggling 5 other projects and just burning yourself out and getting gray hairs. And then you'll deliver it, and then you'll be like, hey, do you mind taking a quick look at this? And then they take like 2 weeks to get back to you. So nothing is really a rush, to be honest, if I'm real. Like very few things are objectively a rush. And I wouldn't tell yourself a story or make things a rush, unless a client specifically asks for something by a specific deadline. I like to spend at least 4 business days per project. And the benefit there is I could take 1 week or 2 if you think about it. So yeah, nobody else sets the pace. 100%, dude. Thank you very much. The lighting is sick. I don't think the lighting is sick right now. Maybe it is. I don't know. The Vancouver sun is treating me nicely today. Gabrielle says, hey, Nick, I've been watching your content for around a month now. I was thinking of starting, but I was wondering, for a cold email system that uses instantly and other platforms you have to pay for in order to get the benefits out of them, even though I watch your pricing video, should I cover the price by charging a small monthly maintenance fee, or should I let them pay? I'm not sure the latter would please the client. Thanks again for sharing your knowledge. This, you're a real one. Well, there's a very minor difference between the two, to be honest. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. You can do either one. If there's something preventing you from just like having them pay for the platform, or if there's a massive limiting belief, sure, just get them to pay you. But like the benefit to having somebody pay the platform is they're going to end up spending the same amount of money, but then you can do things like affiliates, right? So now I can actually get 30% of their instantly sign up, 40% of their instantly sign up. They spend $100 a month. Well, I just bought myself $40 extra a month, right? And there is some perceived value in being like an instantly partner or the partners with all these other platforms. So that's number one. I can fix the lighting on my face just by doing this. That's nice. That's number one. Number two, I prefer to have the client sign up so that I just don't have any liabilities. I don't have to deal with any bullshit. Like, let's say, a month and a half from now, the client doesn't want to work with you anymore. All right. This is going to happen a lot, by the way. So is it going to be like the de facto default? No, obviously you want to service clients and have them happy enough that they're willing to work with you for a while. But when a client inevitably doesn't want to work with you, what's going to happen when you guys have platforms or tools that you're sharing? Well, you're going to have to hand them off. You're going to have to like give them the username, give them the password, give them all the stuff. So why even deal with that? Why not just eliminate that as a concern, literally right up front, by having the client own all this tech stack? Sure, does it take a little bit longer to set up? Yeah, it does, because you have to jump on a kickoff call and walk them through the sign up of the process and stuff. But in your case, it's literally the exact same end result, right? That's what I would do. And that is what I do. I do the kickoff call SOP. Creating Digital Asset says, I think you'll reach 100K YouTube subs on or before June the 30th and get the YouTube Silver Play Button Award. Before end of Q2 2025 is a good goal. Thank you, my man. I really appreciate that. When we do brand stats in a minute, we'll see how quickly I've been growing, but I think you're right. I think I'm already at 72K subs, right? Just about. And like a couple days ago, I was at 70. So yeah, at this rate, probably. Matthew Lamborn says, appreciate the shout out. Been in Make Money with Make since it opened, I think. Now in Make School somehow. Didn't sign up, but glad to be there too, LOL. Yeah, you get free access if you're in Make Money with Make. So you get full access to both. I waterfall down the benefits. So if you're in a more advanced program, you get access to all of the lower programs as well. Just makes sense for me. It's like, think about it from my perspective. The additional unit of work I have to do in order to satisfy you is basically nothing, because you already have access to all the assets that I've already created that one time anyway. But you get a ton more perceived value because, lower programs do tend to, they solve a wide breadth of stuff. And maybe if you're higher up, but you haven't solved that one tiny little thing at the beginning, you can always go back and get that. So I think that makes sense. Okay, one more time. One more question. Riyadh says, discovered this channel by chance. Only need your main one. Believe it or not, although both are great channels, I was drawn more to this one. Practical advice, transparent style is amazing. Thank you. Surprised you mentioned that you're mainly channel where it's community-based rather than agency-based. Why is that? I always thought there's more money in agencies since B2B plus value-based pricing equals tons of money. Since you've done both successfully, what sparked the change? Is it about less work, more headaches, scalability, enjoyment? Many thanks for the value. Had 3 minutes left of the video when commenting, then found out that you kind of answered the question. So it's because the lengthy Beatty sales process? No, actually, that's not. That's part of it. Don't get me wrong. Sales process is a lot easier when it's fully inbound. But I think you hit the nail on the head. It's the scalability of it. Here's how I see agencies. I don't have a pen, so this is going to look ugly, but whatever. Here's how I see agencies, okay? If this is a graph with growth, okay, then this is, and this is time. Oh boy. That's bad. This is money. Time is money. Not in this case. Time is the x-axis. Money is the y-axis. If you run an agency, you can typically make money very quickly, okay? But because agencies tend to be, people-focused, and you're dealing with service implementations and clients, the scaling of it is not straightforward, right? There's a lot of ups and downs. If you don't have MRR, 1 month you go way down before you go way up. If black is agencies and then blue is like an info product, the benefit, the drawback to an info product is initially takes you very long to get up and running, right? But then usually you'll hit some sort of product market fit. When that happens, you scale. So what is the trade-off here? The trade-off is the early revenue. And this early revenue is very important. It's super important. Don't let anybody tell you that's not important. That early revenue could be $500,000. Okay. I'm not putting any actual specific dollar amounts here, but that early revenue could be $500,000 more that you earn with an agency than an info product in 2 years. Like, what would you rather make at the end of your 24th month? $500,000 or zero, or, 10,000, obviously. So I think it really just depends on priorities. It depends on how much agency work you've done in the past, depends on your exploration of business models. But like I've done enough agency work in the past now that I've gotten a lot of those quick wins. I've solved most of my sustenance needs. I've made more money than 99% of people ever will. Just with agencies alone, not even with info products. So for me, it was like, okay, is there a different way to do this? And there is. And if so, now that I've bought myself that stability, can I scale it? How far can I scale, basically? Also, it is a little bit nicer, I would say, to deal with warm clients than cold clients. Warm clients just like, know, and respect you. You've already done a lot of the selling just through your content. Whereas with cold ones, you don't really have that. So yeah, I guess scalability, enjoyment, headache. I'm not gonna be like, I'm not gonna tell you this is easy. It's a lot of work, but if you want to make it big in anything, it's gonna be a lot of work, right? So I guess it's just like pick your poison. Okay. Without me destroying the lovely ironing board setup I have, let's do some brand stats. Thank you very much for listening. That's my Q&A for the day. Brand stats is just where I show you guys my growth over the last 24 hours. So let's scroll all the way down to April the 12th, the date today. Did I seriously grow like 700 people again? Wow, I did. That's cool. Yeah, that's sick. So main channel grew 600, not 700. IG, my Instagram, which is right over here, by the way. Guess you guys don't know it. I think we've been doing pretty well. Not as well as we could be. Yeah, 140K here. Actually, no, we're doing good. The thing is the virality. Some videos get like 1 million views, and then the majority of the other ones get like between 50K to 100K, I would say. So the virality is kind of hit or miss, eh? Anyway, 89,796. That's cool. We went up 2.5K, which is literally almost 3% growth. Crazy. Then how about this channel right here, the daily updates channel? 3,060. So that went up 100 again. So this is taking off. This is going crazy right now. I love it. Awesome. Yeah, things are going really well. Okay, cool. So let me fill you guys in on where I'm at and what I've done over the course of the last 24 hours in terms of my the strategy. So I, if you guys have been watching the last few days, you'll know that churn reduction has been really important for me. So churn reduction for Maker School is now down. Churn for Maker School is now down, I think, 18%. We just crossed 1,800 members. And yeah, it's almost 17% now, 18.19%. This is probably going to spike up. We just had a bunch of new people sign up, and the more people that sign up in the short term, the lower the churn is, because it's the last 30 days, right? But yeah, you guys will have seen this has actually gone down by like 4% since I started doing the Maker School community exclusives, which is great. Next step is I have to introduce a weekly call to Maker School. So I'm going to take my monthly call, which right now is on the first of every month, which quite frankly is kind of annoying. And I'm going to make it weekly. And the benefit of having a weekly Maker School call is it's going to help answer a lot of the same repeat questions that we get over and over and over again. And it's also, if you think about it, it's going to give people exposure on a week-to-week basis. So I get to deliver a ton of value to them, and then that's going to significantly, hopefully, lower the churn rate. Because right now, a lot of people are joining, and then they can't make a single call. They don't see value. They don't see live event value, which is something that's really important to them, with me for at least a month, and then obviously they churn before the end of that month. This is going to fix that. But because I added all this stuff to Maker School, I can't have two of the exact same communities where I have weekly calls where that's a big point of value. So what I ended up doing was I created a very in-depth roadmap all about everything that I'm going to do to make MakeMoneyWithMake.com a firmly mid-ticket community. Right now, it's still like a low-ticket community. It's like $128 a month. You can only get it annually, which makes it kind of higher ticket, but it's still low ticket. With this roadmap, that I spent several hours writing last night. I'm firmly going to change this so that it is at least a $250 a month product, if not more. Then I'm going to increase the cap from 400 to 500, which will solve some of the engagement problems that I'm seeing in the community, which tends to happen when you have a cap and then you have an annual product where people just aren't incentivized to post and make the most out of their membership on a monthly basis. I'm going to increase the cap, and then I'm going to add a ton more events. So I'm going to add a weekly agency hot seat with me, where I actually dive into a specific business like your agency, then I roast you live in front of everybody. If you guys have seen Alex Hormozzi's business roast, you can kind of think of it like that. Obviously, I'm not going to be as big dick or cool as that guy because he's made $2 quadrillion by now. But you guys will get like a Nick version of that, okay? We'll do it live, and then we're going to record it, and then you are going to have a piece of content that you could use, almost like a podcast with me kind of style thing, if you wanted to grow your own brand or have some association with me later on. And then we're also going to get a big library of things that have worked. So it'll be like a list of case studies, basically, which is obviously just better for me as well. It's more content. On top of that, I'm launching prizes. So I'm going to give $1,000 a month away to the top 3 people that post and engage in the community. So the number 1 most engaged person is going to get $500. The number 2 is going to get $350. Number 3 is going to get $150. I'm not trying to buy engagement here, but I do want to reward people that are taking time out of their day to actually comment on posts, do blueprints, record Loom videos, and a lot of us are doing that now. So if you're the sort of person that does that, you're going to have your membership paid for and then some. You're going to make multiples on it, basically. I'm going to do a couple other things as well. I'm going to implement a 120-day threshold where if you're not active on school for 120 days, I'm going to refund you your last month, and then I'm going to pause your subscription. The reason why is because, honestly, a lot of people get in and then they just kind of fade out. It's probably like a third of the community right now. And I don't think that's fair. The way that I set this up was just initially, before I fully knew how to operate a community, was under the mistaken assumption that everybody would be able to utilize 100% of the community at all times, which is just it's not realistic. So I'm going to implement some sort of pause where if you don't sign in for 4 full months, which is a long ass time, right? If you don't sign into school, it's not just my community, just school in general, for 4 whole months, pause your subscription, make a little bit of room for new blood to come in, because I also have a massive wait list at this point on both annual and then monthly. Okay, those are my main makemoneywithmake.com changes. I'm also going to be doing a couple other things, like some more community exclusives, and going to be raising the price a lot. But those are the big changes that I made yesterday, which is pretty sick, I think. So what is this going to do for me? If we're talking strategically, I think this is going to make me a lot more money, for one, because I'm going to get to increase the price of the community. So I'm already delivering what many people think is like a $500 to $1,000 a month product, and I'm doing it for like $100 a month. Some people are paying $28 because they got in early enough, right? But I'm delivering like a $1,000 a month product for like $100. So I'm going to increase this. So I'm going to triple my monthly rate on the next 100 people that come in at least. It's going to incentivize members to be more engaged. I think I should hit at least $210,000 this month with this strategy. And then I'll also give people a pretty straight line path to upgrade from Maker School to makemoneywithmake.com when the time comes. And one more thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to record a whole new program for makemoneywithmake.com called the 25K a month agency, where I basically run people through how to take your agency that works, that you built in Maker School, and then how to scale it to the next step. But yeah, it's going to make me more money, which is great. But I think more importantly, it's going to allow us to help more of the people in the program with the problems that they're specifically suffering from. And it's going to allow me to customize the work that I'm doing. And it's also going to allow me to justify more time spent, because you guys know I'm always lusting after that highest ROI, highest, most profitable thing to be doing next, right? Well, this is going to make moneywithmake.com a lot more. And I'm going to be able to do it all, literally every day, like I've been doing for the better part of last year with Make Money with Make. I'm going to be able to do it every day, super consistently, mostly through asynchronous methods. Sure, I am adding 1 additional call a week, and then I'm doing 1 additional call a week with Maker School. So it's going to be an additional 2 hour and a half a week of live calls. But the majority of the work I'm going to continue doing is going to be async. It's not going to require any sales calls. My material and my content's going to sell it all. And this is what's going to build me the foundation that I'm going to use to scale. And I don't know for sure, but I think with this approach, I could scale to 210,000 easy, but more importantly, I think I could scale 250K, 300K. I mean, I'm one of the top community builders on school right now, and there's no reason why I can't leverage everything I've done to make Maker School work for makemoneywithmake.com too. It's just the same thing, just a higher ticket community where I'm giving people more presence and more value. So that's my strategy. I think I'll leave it at that. If you guys like this sort of stuff, definitely check out Maker School. I increased the prices again. I think it's $114 a month now, US. And Make Money with Make is going to be like tripling its price sometime in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned on that if you guys want to see how I'm building real community products in real time with a scalable and no sales call method, because I freaking hate those high ticket closing calls and I do not want to implement any of that in my own business. Have a lovely rest of the day. Looking forward to checking in with you all tomorrow.